Now got Helen.
Helen. Hello, Helen. Put your sound on.
Hello. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's on now. Yeah, I understand so much of what you say. I do understand, and I have had some bits of falling away and everything else, but there's still a strong sense of the world is happening to me. I understand how that comes about. I can see that the thoughts happening bring that about. But there's something in me that just won't have it for some reason. Feels like I'm holding on.
Only because you understand it. Understanding is still a function that's going on in the individual energy. So the individual understands what this message is, but it's not anything more than understanding. So it's not an energetic sense of this. So it's just another concept. There are quite a lot of people who talk in concepts about this, and people listen to it and understand it and somehow feel they're getting somewhere. But all they're getting to is a place in themselves, in the dualistic self, which understands a new message. It has nothing to do with anything happening, because this is only purely about energy. It's an energetic dropping of a sense of contraction into being whole. It has nothing to do with understanding. Understanding keeps you locked into the conceptual sense of something. The idea that there's no one is still only an understanding. I am no one. It can still be just words as an understanding.
Yes. As you were talking for the first time, I thought, hold on a minute. I'm understanding. Hold on. Who is understanding? What's understanding what? And what's the understanding got to do with anything?
Nothing.
Has nothing to do with anything.
No. Well done.
That were a bit of a shocker, actually.
Yeah, it is a bit of a, yeah.
I thought, I thought I'm grasping this. I understand this. I understand this. Why is something not happening? So hold on a minute. Why should something happen on one hand? And what does understanding mean anyway on the other hand? So it's a bit of a shocker.
I refer back to my reading at the beginning of this thing. Have you ever fallen in love?
Yes.
Okay. When falling in love happened, did you understand it?
No. It
can't be understood. It's something energetic that is absolutely completely beyond understanding. You could make a list of the things that you love about that person, but that's just a list of items that you like about them. But the actual energy of falling in love is totally beyond knowing and understanding, because it's nothing to do with you. That's why it's so primal. So in a way, falling in love with someone has a very similar energy to what we're talking about here. And that is that you can be in life and understand life. You could even come and understand about there being no one, or there being no free will, and all those things. And then all that can go on, and you've got a sort of structure in your mind of what you think this is about. But suddenly, one day, whoosh! The whole thing suddenly, it's something else beyond me understanding. Oh.
Thank you.
Okay, you are that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have another written question. Accepting there is no me or you, are there any tips or suggestions that can be given that may help some of us have the realization that you speak of? Any techniques that might help us realize this and thereby fall away?
No, absolutely not, because we're back to the same thing again as understanding. and that is that all the time you're locked into dualism, and you have a sense of being a person, then what you're trying to discover is another object, because you're in a subject-object experience. So I'm the subject, and the object I want to ask Tony about and find a technique to find is a subject. It's an object that I can have. And all the time there is a sense that in some way or other, awakening, or whatever you like to call it, is an object that you can have. Then your activity and any idea that there's a technique or process which will bring you to that object is absolutely, divinely, wonderfully, beautifully futile. It's absolutely futile, because I said to the lady just now, this has nothing to do with understanding something or trying to follow some sort of technique in order to obtain an object, because actually you are living in that which you long for. It's energetic. Everything that is in your life is energetically that love that you long. It can't be obtained, it already is. And any attempt to try and obtain it is simply an intention. So this is about energy, and the energy of the seeker is an intention, an agenda to own something. That's why it can only ever fail. It can only ever fail. You can't own this.
And there's just one other question that's written. It says, Tony, what would you say about the apparent law of attraction that Rhonda and The Greatest Secret talk about, which to me feels very negative, as the fearful thoughts one can have would just be attracted?
Well, it's just another fallacy. It's just another part of the fallacy of dualism. There are organizations which talk about the law of attraction, and they try to help you to develop some sort of process where you can attract what you want. But again, we're back to subject-object process. We're back to the idea, I mean, in a way you could say the law of attraction, you could apply the law of attraction to enlightenment or awakening. But that is doing the same thing again as people who try to sell the idea of the law of attraction. All they're trying to do is to get you to use some sort of process where you can attract to you an object that you want. It's all part of a completely futile belief system that's born and lives in dualism.
Okay, now we have Petra. Would you like to?
Hello, Petra.
Hi, Tony. Oh, it's so wonderful to see you both. I miss you so much. So thank you very much for the meeting. And
No,
so much.
we're not doing it. It's what's happening. We're not doing this. It's what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so much love comes when I listen to you, and it's so wow. I love you so much. Both of you. Wow. It's yeah. Thank you. I don't have much to say.
No, that's lovely. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, wow, it's just love. Wow.
Okay.
We've got Barbara now.
Hi, Tony.
Hello, Barbara. Is your sound on, Barbara?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I just want to say thank you. My earliest seeming recollection is that there was something that I could never know. And I remember this, I seemingly remember this longing to know that. And with your message, I have done nothing. I just, it's clear that I could never know it, And
No.
that's as it is.
Hmm.
And no effort, nothing, just
No.
nothing. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We now have Jason. Would you like to unmute yourself, Jason?
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Jason.
Where do I start? There's no way to explain anything, why anything happens. If there's just what's happening, there's no...
But only apparently.
Yeah. I mean, I was sitting here earlier in the meeting and the whole sense of personal choice just evaporated. There's just what's happening. But then there was some kind of needing to explain or, again, understand or, have something to hold on to. Right?
Yeah, because otherwise you don't feel safe. Because this is about free fall. And when you hear this, there's a sense of free fall, something unknowing that can't be established. And so you go back to try and understand something in order that you can feel safe.
Yes, exactly. I heard someone refer to it as free floating rather than free fall.
Yeah,
which seemed less scary to hear, but the feelings are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to say hi. So thank you very much.
Okay, hi.
Okay, now we've got Chris again. Would you like to?
Good.
Is it okay to ask
Yeah, you can have as many as you like.
Okay. So back to Helen's question about understanding. A few questions ago, as somebody who's also always trying to understand things, I mean, there's nothing wrong with understanding. It's not good or bad.
No,
it's also just what's happening, and there's no one to understand anyway. It's just what's happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. You're okay now then. There's nothing right or wrong with anything. All there is what appears to be happening. At the moment, what appears to be happening is you're talking to this and this is talking to you.
Yeah.
And there's nothing right or wrong with that.
But I'll sit there and struggle really hard and try to figure something out, and then I'll kind of catch myself. I was like, "Oh my God!" Then
that's okay.
Yeah.
You try and
figure it out. I'll try to figure it out some more, but it doesn't matter.
Well, if it doesn't,
just what's happening.
If you try and figure it out and you can't figure it out, you need to try harder.
Yeah, right.
That's a joke, by the way.
And then go have some gin. No.
Yeah, you got it from me.
Thank you.
So we've got Jade again.
Hello, Tony.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Jade. Yes. Thank you. I would like to ask, what's the difference when listening to your message right away and when falling asleep? What's the difference between these two different states? Like listening to you when I'm wide awake and when I am fallen asleep. What's the difference?
There isn't any. There's no difference, except in deep sleep, there isn't anyone. There is only no thing with no sense of identity in it. But as the sleep becomes more shallow, then dreaming happens. But there isn't any difference between that and what's happening now. It is what's happening. It is no thing apparently happening.
But when I fallen asleep, your video is still playing. Is there still listening?
Sorry, is there?
When I am totally fallen asleep, but your video is still playing. I still.
Oh.
Yeah, your video is still on while I just totally fallen asleep. And is there still somebody listening?
There can be or not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you listen to this or not. This is not about something that you need to listen to and understand. This is what's going on here is unconditional love. It's simply energy in this form. What we're all doing together is sharing something that can't be understood. We're sharing unconditional love. That's the energy of this what's happening. So it doesn't matter if you're asleep or not. That's all there is.
Oh, okay.
In
Thank
any
you.
form. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
So we've got a written question now. Why do fearful thoughts still come up? Is it just noise?
It's just something that's happening. Fearful thoughts can still arise when there's no one, but they are just what's happening. All there is what's happening. The difference is that if you are an individual and you have fearful thoughts and you take ownership of them and believe in them in your story, because the individual lives in a story and it can have fearful thoughts about that story and make it very real and make that sense of the thoughts of what they are pointing to very real. When there is no one, fearful thoughts can still arise, but they are just what's happening and they're not happening to anyone. They're not owned.
I've got another question now. When I meditate, I can feel the peace, the space in which everything appears, thoughts, emotions, etc. It's like a sense of presence, unconditional love without limit. Is this the same that you're talking about?
I don't think it is. It doesn't feel as though it is, but if that's what's happening, that's what's happening. There's nothing right or wrong with it. And there's nothing you can do about making it different or not doing it or doing it. It's what's happening. It is wholeness, oneness, no thing arising in that form. What you've described is simply no thing arising in that form. There's nothing right or wrong with it. It's simply what's happening. And you're not doing it. You're not meditating. It's what's apparently happening.
And there's another question. Tony, is a sense of where in nothingness, or is locality a further aspect of a dualistic existence idea, i.e. here, there? Is the apparent occurrence somewhere or nowhere or everywhere?
Both nowhere and everywhere. There is no sense of locality in that sense, in that way, because there would need to be a someone who is in a locality and is experiencing a locality. That's the dualistic world in which most people live.